Hello everyone, today I am here with you to bring you the introduction of high probability setups. Now high probability setups is a trading methodology, a system, and even though I don't like sometimes using the word system, it is in that sense, it's almost an automated methodology that really is best described by its name, high probability setups. And what I've found over my history of trading, and this is starting back in the early 90s, is markets are very volatile. A lot of people, to read a market you have to read a chart, and that's where technical analysis comes into play. When you're a chart reader, you can go with fundamentals, but you can look at a chart and you can read the map of a chart. You can understand where it's going, where it's been. And what this style of trading basically does look at those charts, tells us where we've been. It also combines many other indications, momentum indicators, trend indicators, kind of letting us know when certain trends are coming to an end or about to reverse. So we're always looking for that pivot area in the trade where it's really the most optimal time to enter a stock. So we're taking a lot of the risk out, hence the term high probability setups. Now, again, high probability setups, there's so much that goes into this, and I want to break it down the best I can. This is basically what the site looks like, and it all comes from a core of 40 stocks right now. 40 stocks is the HPS 40 index, and what this is about is, when you do try to trade in the markets and you trade in stocks, you enter the market, you wait for news to come out, you see what's moving, you do your research and stuff. This is a system that works with 40 quality stocks, and this could change, this could go up, but right now you take the 40 quality stocks, and that's the number one criteria is that the ability to have a stock that you could feel comfortable in at least holding overnight. A lot of times, a lot of people, there's so many stocks out there, and so many stocks that really have no good history and stuff, and people just trade them because they're hoping for a home run and stuff. And most likely you hold a stock, you're either going to get good news or bad news if or something comes out on it. And if you're holding a good stock, the majority of the time is good news. If you're holding a bad stock, the majority of the time is bad news. And you think about it, the cheaper the stock and stuff. So these are quality stocks. These are stocks, like Johnson & Johnson, Amazon, Apple, Advanced Auto Parts. Stocks that that kind of encompass all the different sectors in the market. Banking and tech and basic materials and consumer goods and even gold and commodities. So it has a little of everything, and it gives us a good market map. It's an index. It's a 40 index, and from that 40 index here, the alerts go out from the site. Now the alerts are basically programmed into the site on the back end. So of these 40 stocks, we're looking for that criteria that's given us that signal, and that signal again this is a high probability setup. Meaning, of the indicators we're looking at, they're all lining up. They're all giving us the best signal. Sometimes one indicator will line up, sometimes one or two indicators at the same time. But when we have the majority of the indicators all lining up, that becomes that high probability setup. And again, there's so much to talk about, and this is one of many videos that are going to go out explaining the methodology and the system. But right now, just to give you the basics and stuff, when we look back at a chart, let's go to this chart here of just Dow Chemical. We could look back here, and one of the main criteria I look at is stochastic indicators. All right, and this really measures momentum, and a simple little thing that that we embrace is the momentum indicator. It's the stochastic indicator. It's a general overbought, oversold, trending indicator. It's very obvious to look back at each time, and what I use 20 and 80 as overbought and oversold, and just to go back and saying if you would have bought this stock every time it got oversold, starting here, you have you're probably right around the area of a market bounce. The timing on this one's not even oversold, but you can still see it had a nice little bounce. Here we have, just touched that 20 line. This one underneath 20. So each time this came down to this level, even this little bounce here, you had a pretty decent directional trade, and that's a major thing. Imagine being able to say, all right, each one of these levels I want to get in and go long, and I want to hold a few days, and you see the results from that. And this is something we use a lot on Day Trading Radio. It's just a beautiful timing indicator. And when you look at something, you see that. Why would you think anything? Why would you try not to use it? You know, why would you not use it if it worked every single time? You know, just ask yourself that. So that's just one of the indicators. And then we add recognizable patterns. We also add some other indicators that come up on reversal candlesticks and volume and stuff. And this is all computed in. And then I get the signals. And the signals go out. And watch what happens when we get a signal. We want to really set that trade up. And what I do is I set that trade up, and it gets sent out, or it gets posted here, and you get the alert. And the alert will give you, an entry price, a target, and a stop. You go look at the chart. Basically, you got a little chart here. Now watch what happens. You're going to click on this chart here. Let's actually let me do one. Let me go back here a second. All right, Johnson is fine. All right, you click on the chart. You can see the green dot means that it's active. You get an alert saying J&J price 62.49 has entered the buy area between 62 and 62.50. So we had a buy area, and that tells you, that alert gets sent out to you. So you've known from this chart right here, and look at this chart right here. You're going to like this. Just a second. All right, there's the chart you're going to get. And, I put the notes in. We pretty much outline what we're looking at and the notes of what the buy trigger is, the target, and what's great about this stock. And we're looking at some of the indicators and why you should be looking at it in the stop areas and stuff. What's great about this technology here now, even if you look at, you might miss this alert, maybe not take the trade. You don't even have to take the trade. You could just test the system. And you say, all right, here's a buy alert here. You're going to go back and you're going to say, well, how am I going to be updated on this? I want to continue to get updated on this trade even if I don't take it. Well, you just go right back to the chart there and click on this little arrow. And I sent out this alert a couple days ago, and you can see we gapped up, and it just kind of fills in the candlesticks for you, so you actually can look back and see how it's acting and reacting off of this. So this is a current trade right now I'm in. I love the Johnson & Johnson to pull right back to that lower trend line. And again, we're looking for a move back up to the top part of the trend line. But what's really nice is the continuation. Like in a couple days, we could click on this, and then you're going to see this price up here. Then I'm very confident in that. So that's a great it's a great little thing that you could go back. You could actually back test every signal you have there and go back. So we're going to go back to another one. You just close out, go back to home. CHD. What was the? Here's one that Amazon. Here's one that was not a bad setup. Has all the notes, but again, I have a stop here at 208, and it pushed down below the stop. If we go back out onto the alerts here, you can see that the May 3rd Amazon entered the buy area of 209 to 211 at 210. Amazon price 208 has reached the stop price. So that alert goes out also to you. So when it does hit the stop, it does automatically goes out, automatically generated and stuff. And here's your Amazon. You get to just see it actually gapped up and pulled back. It just tagged the 207, high 207s, 208 area. When it comes to stops, you could always adjust your stops and stuff. But again, you just click on that little arrow there, and it fills in the chart. You can look back 2 weeks to see how each of these setups performed, and you could actually do your own back testing. So again, great little setup there. We're gonna go back to the home just to walk you through. I'm gonna walk you through a little bit more off of this here. Here's the alerts that you see going through here, and these are all fed out to the email list. There's also a blog on there if there's a index that a stock in the index that might got it removed or added on there for some reason. And then what's really great is we have the shorter term indications, because when we talk about profits, I always say the entries are easy. Entries could be computerized, and just like you just have to wait for your setup. But what's really let's go here to AAP, which was the short. And here's again a short for this week. You can see the price entered the short on the 25th, and then on the 30th, after the weekend today, it reached the target of 72.50, which was the profit target. great short. And you can see this is just marking out some notes and looking back at here, looking back at this signal, and we were shorting into the, calling the short into the gap here, right up against the gap, and then you could see, just kind of turned back down. It wasn't a big profit, it was a profit, $1. According to this thing. But again, getting back to the profits, we also use a shorter indication. That's where I wanted to actually touch base and go back to these alerts here. HPS 40 alerts. So you'll get the alert, and what's good is sometimes if you're in the chat room and stuff, you'll see these scroll by. You'll see the approaching oversold in a short-term time frame. And this will go out for all the HP 40s. So the whole index is there, so whenever you do get an overbought or oversold level, you'll see that alerted. You could get this, RSS feeded to you, and there's a lot of technology behind this. And so that was a short, a stop, and basically that's, again, the same thing. You're going to get that beautiful chart. You could click on the chart. I have all the notes. This one was a real good trade. We took the profits right up against that trend line. It popped up, and we took profits off of that, and that's it. That is, really the backbone and what HPS, or high probability setups, is about. It's a very simple but very well thought out process of taking the risk out of the market. All right, this is again taking the risk out of the market. We always talk about how there's no perfect holy grail to trading. That's one thing I would say, if there is a perfect thing out there, please email me. But we all know that there's nothing perfect. But if you could go back and take a look at, that chart we were just looking at before, Dow Chemicals, and we look back and say, well, we have a better odds that each time it pulled back here. Now, within these odds here, I add the other indicators, and maybe,
FRX. Foxtrot Romeo X-ray. Forrest says that icon slate has not yet been identified. Forrest says the board will evaluate.
Well, sorry about that. A little plug for Benzinger news audio there. But anyway, you could go back and you can say, well, if this worked the last 7 out of the 7 times and worked maybe out of 9 out of the last 10 times, why would you not want that? That's what I say. It's so obvious and so great about this, and I always say, find me something better, because you won't. It's obvious. It's science. It's not even as much as it's giving you what it's doing. It's updating you on where great quality stocks should be bought. Now, we know that that's not how the market plays. There's other influences in the market. Maybe the stock pulls back down to a certain level and it looks great, but it comes out with bad news, or the market has bad news, and the patterns break down. That is what the market is. That's the risk that comes with any market. There's not 100% times that this is going to work, but if the market is fine, and you have to realize that, you have to come to that determination. Wait, there's too much news out here. Europe is all messed up. It's always in the news. The market's been not acting well. It's been just. I don't want to just take any alert because the alert's coming at me. I also want to wait with what the market conditions are doing. If the market's trending and everything seems to be okay, even to the downside, but the volatility is what really throws this off, and it doesn't even throw it off that much. I mean, you could go sideways and get good triggers and stuff. It's about the unknown uncertainty of this market. So you have to add that into any time you take a trade and you get an alert. But what it's going to do is it's going to remind you, hey, Coca-Cola just came down to this beautiful lower part of a channel. It's set up on multiple time frames, and this is really one of the better areas to buy the stock in the last 6 months. That's something I want to know. It saves me a lot of time, a lot of research. I said, well, I want to know when that happens. I might not take it, but I at least want to know it saves so much time and effort to have this automated. And it's automated that the best setups are coming out, and you can see the setups. You can see exactly what we're looking for. You see the recognizable channels. You want to buy when the stock is down into that recognizable pattern, and get that bounce up. All right, you want to wait until you get the coil stochastics setting up. So when this all happens and this gets sent to you, it's not like you even had to go and look for it. This is something that you would want to have. You would pay for, basically. It's a great tool. It's a great tool. All right, so that's the introduction of HPS setups, HPS high probability setups.com. It's a service. It's a if you're not a member of Day Trading Radio, it's actually going to be $29.95, and that's reasonable. It's definitely reasonable to for all the work that goes in that and all the research and all the time that it can save you if you like trading quality stocks and getting the best setups possible. It's $1 a day. That's not a biggie for a trader, and there's been a lot of time, a lot of effort being put in here. So, but again, as I developed this with Day Trading Radio, I always wanted to maintain that the loyal followers and the members of Day Trading Radio, I always want to give them, the highest quality value. So I'm not going to charge them for this at all, and it's going to be just a kind of a gift to them, and an added valuation to Day Trading Radio. And you don't have to be part of Day Trading Radio to get this. You don't. You can get this on its own and never tune into Day Trading Radio. But we just introduced it. Definitely check it out. You're going to see a lot more videos on this, talking about the methodology, different setups on the thing. Just keep it on. You could follow up. You could. I'd love to get some feedback on the video. I'd love to get some feedback all around, and I'm glad I could bring you this special video. HighProbabilitySetups.com.